Hello, hello, hello. Well, welcome tonight. Everybody, come on in. We're going to get started tonight. Uh, Welcome to Soul Switchboard, where we do mediumship and also connect you with your loved ones. And so, come on in. And as soon as we get a few more people, we're going to go ahead and get started tonight with some spirit connections for everybody. My name is Ethodios, and I'm here to help connect you with your loved ones who've passed away. And we know that death is not the end. Death is just a transition. And our loved ones who have passed away, they don't stop existing. Our loved ones who've passed away, they continue to exist. And our relationship with our loved ones doesn't stop just because they passed away. It continues, but it just changes form. And so tonight, that's what I am here for tonight with Soul Switchboard, is to help you to be connected to your loved ones who've passed over into the on the other side. And so come on in, share the live out, and we'll get started in just a couple minutes here with spirit-led mediumship. I am a medium, and I help people to be able to connect with their loved ones on the other side. And so it would be my pleasure to be able to help some of you tonight to be able to do that. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for a few more people to join, do you have any questions about what happens when we die, or what happens to our loved ones when they die? If you do, feel free to just drop that into the chat, and I'm happy to help out. But again, I'm here, I'm a medium. I am here to help connect you with your loved ones who've already passed away, so that you can know, and we provide evidence that our loved ones are still existing, our loved ones are still alive on the other side of the veil. I'm here as a medium to connect you, and that's what Soul Switchboard is all about, to help connect you with those ones who are on the other side of the veil that you're not able to connect with yet. And that's what we're here to do. So go ahead and like the live if you can, and we'll get started with some spirit-led in just a couple minutes. But in the meantime, if you have any questions about what happens to our loved ones when they pass away, feel free to drop that into the chat as well. Again, I'm here to help, to educate, to help connect you, just to help you to be able to connect with your loved ones. When people come into our lives, they're coming because a lot of times they miss someone, they love someone who's passed away. And my job here is to help you to be able to connect with them, and also to help you to know that death is not the end. Death is not the end of your relationship with them. Hi, V-Bug. So glad to see you. So glad you're here, V-Bug. We're here to help connect you to your loved ones, and also to answer questions. So if you have any questions tonight, drop it in the chat. What happens to my loved ones when they pass away? What are the things that, what do my loved ones see or experience? Or what can I expect when I pass away? Or what do my pets have an afterlife as well? All of these are, thank you, Baby Cake 42, for sharing the live. What do my loved ones, what are they experienced? What are they experiencing? And so I just want to let you know I'm here to answer questions tonight, just to help, and also to help connect you with any of your loved ones who may already be on the other side. A lot of times we get discouraged because we don't see them physically anymore. And so then we think that, oh, okay, well, our relationship with them are gone. And, it doesn't end there. I'll share quickly why I got involved with mediumship some years back. My daughter died unexpectedly. She had holes in her heart, and we knew that she had holes in her heart. She was getting treatment, and but we thought that it was under control, and the cardiologist thought it was under control. And so unexpectedly, some years back, all of a sudden I woke up one morning and I went down and I found my daughter was dead. And it was the most traumatic morning of my entire life, because you don't expect to find your daughter dead. And so that was, again, like the most traumatic thing. And she passed away from the holes in her heart. Her little heart just stopped altogether. And, I know CPR, and I was trying to do CPR on her until the fire department got there. But, she was already gone for too long. By the best recollection, she had passed away about 3 a.m, and this was right before 7 a.m. So she'd already been gone for a few hours. But that journey was it was the most traumatic thing that I ever went through in my whole life. And I had to learn about grief, and I had certain ideas about life after death already. I was a pastor of a church and all of that stuff, so of course I had all of the pre-programmed things that supposedly happen when someone passes away. But that wasn't enough for me. And so over time I was able to work through some of my grief and get to the point where I wanted to at least continue living. Because when you lose a child, that's like, it's hard to just keep going on, especially when it's so unexpected like that. And so I got through that. I went through counseling, but we had experienced some supernatural type of phenomena that were happening as time was going on, where my daughter was coming and doing things that we could only attribute to her. And so it opened up my eyes a little bit to looking at different ways of contacting her. And so with that in mind, I learned more about mediumship and saw that this really is real. And ever since I was a kid, I was able to see spirits anyway. And so I just started learning more and more, and I wanted to help others, because I wanted for others who are grieving because they love someone and they lost someone, I wanted for them to be able to have some sort of reassurance that their loved one also was still there with them, and that they didn't have to feel like they were completely cut off forever from their loved one. And so immediately I just got involved in training and learning and honing my abilities to be able to start to reach out and serve others with mediumship as well. And that's where we're at now. And that's the reason why I'm here tonight, is because I want to help. I want to help connect you with your loved ones. If there's someone that you have lost, I want for you to be able to have a connection with them again, or at least to know that they're right there with you. And so just keep that in mind. And thank you for all the likes, and thank you for the shares, everyone who's shared. And so tonight, let's go ahead and get started. Is there anybody who's here right now who would like to have mediumship, that you would like to connect with one of your loved ones who've passed away? And if not, don't worry. Maybe you just this is newer to you and maybe you just want to ask some questions, that's fine too. But I'm here to help. If you would like to, I'm here to just try to be of service and to share what has helped me a lot. Like I said, just the fact that I knew that my daughter who had passed away was still right there with me, that made such a difference for me. And excuse me. And I just want to share that with others. And so thank you for the love tonight. Thank you for sharing the love. And again, that's why I'm here with you. And through the Soul Switchboard, we're trying to create environments that are supportive of each other, where people who have lost someone can come in, and you're among people who know what it's like to grieve. You're among people who know what it's like to have lost somebody. And that's why we're here. Thank you, Baby Cakes, for sharing the live tonight. Thank you so much. We appreciate it so much. You're among friends. You're among a tribe of people who we care, and we've been there. We have loved ones that we've lost, and we just want to be there to support each other. That's the whole reason for the Soul Switchboard. Not only am I helping to connect others to their loved ones, but at the same time, we're here to support each other. And so whatever I can do to help, that's what we're here for tonight. So, by the way, where is everybody here from? I personally am over in California right now. What part of the country or the world are you guys in? What about you, Baby Cakes? Where are you from? And then Superheroes, where are you from? Alabama. Awesome, Baby Cakes. Well, so glad you're here from Alabama. Awesome. And let's see, who else do we have? Oh, Abdullahi, where are you from? And Superhero, where are you from? Brian Carey, where are you from? Glad you guys are here. So glad you're here. Again, we're here to support you and to stand with you. We're also here to provide mediumship, to connect you with any loved ones that may have passed on. If you would like to have mediumship, we also have some readings sometimes for pets that have passed away, because our pets also they experience afterlife as well. And so a lot of times they're here, and they if they've passed on, they love you and they don't leave your side. A lot of times they'll be right there, and we can communicate with the pets who have passed on as well. But it's so reassuring to know that death is not the end. Us leaving this physical body is not the end. And one of the biggest things that you hear when you're speaking with spirits is, one of the biggest surprises for them is the realization that, after they've passed away, they still are able to sense things. They're able to see things, hear, just without that physical body that we're used to having. And so just because they separate from the physical body, that isn't the end for them. It's just a transition. It's just a continuation. And, it's really amazing, and it really is liberating when you realize death is not the end. It continues on, and you can still have a relationship with your loved one even after they continue on. So that's just, it's so reassuring. So, keep that in mind. Baby Cakes, do you have a loved one that has passed away that you would like to connect with tonight? If not, that's fine as well. But glad you're here. Let's see, in Alabama, what time is it in Alabama? About 3 in the morning right now, or 4 in the morning? I think 3 probably. You guys are Mountain Standard or Eastern? 3. Okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's a little after 1 in the morning here. But, I really felt that I wanted to come on to try to support anyone who might be up late. I know a lot of times when people are going through grieving process or just, in life, sometimes they have hard times sleeping sometimes. And so I just wanted to be here and get the chance to meet some amazing people like yourself, Baby Cakes. So glad to get to meet you, along with everyone else who's coming through. Jesse James, hello. And tonight, for anyone who's newer coming through, my name is Ethodios, and I'm here as a medium, an evidential medium, to help connect people with their loved ones. I'm here as part of the Soul Switchboard Collective, which is a group of mediums who are dedicated to helping people connect, and then also to educate and just answer questions, because death is so taboo sometimes. Yeah, nice to meet you as well. Yes, thank you. It's death a lot of times can be taboo, and people are afraid to talk about it, or they think that if they talk about it, that means that they're going to die quickly. And that's not at all how it works. So yeah, so if I don't hear any questions yet, I can share with you a couple things that I've learned along the way through talking to people who've had near-death experiences, through speaking with, well, hey there, Marsha, good to see you. People who've had, and Marsha is another amazing medium. She is amazing and bringing connections to people and their loved ones as well. So good to see Marsha, and please make sure to follow her if you can. She's amazing, and she's able to connect very, very well with loved ones. But coming back to what I was sharing, there are some things that people are amazed at when they talk to mediums. And there's also very common questions that they ask a lot of times. One of the questions that people want to know a lot of times when they're having a reading for mediumship with one of their loved ones is they want to know, are they okay? And that is a valid concern. Are they okay? Because they don't know a lot of times what happened. All of a sudden, their loved one is just no longer there in their body, and they want to know genuinely, is my loved one okay? And so the good thing is the answer is the same for everyone, that when our loved ones pass away, yes, they are okay. They are okay. Like I was sharing about my daughter who passed away, that was something that was on my heart, because I was so used to being the one to try to make sure that she was okay. Thank you for the heart, me. I was the one who was always just trying to make sure she was okay. And I felt, honestly, even though she had died from holes in her heart, I felt like because she died, that it was my fault. I'm just being honest. I felt like it was my fault that my daughter passed away because I felt like it was my job to take care of her. And because she died, I felt, okay, I failed in taking care of her and keeping hurt away from her. And so when she passed away, that was a lot that I had to work through. But one of the things that I wanted to know is she okay? Is she okay? Is my daughter okay? And because I love her and I couldn't see her anymore in the physical realm, I had wanted to know that. And so that's why mediumship was so impactful, because it helped me to have contact with her again, and I knew that she was okay. And not only her, my other loved ones as well that I couldn't see anymore in person, they were okay. And so that's a normal thing for people to ask when you have a loved one who's passed away. It's not an abnormal question, so don't feel bad for wanting to ask that question. Are they okay? The good news is yes, your loved one is okay. That's the first and most important thing. So what happens when your loved one passes away? So a lot of times they describe it as, when they've passed away, they describe it as, a lot of times there's a little bit of a shock to them if they didn't know that they were passing away. But even in those situations, that lasts like this little bit of time, because all of a sudden they have an overwhelming sense of peace, and safety and happiness, and all of the worries that they had while they were in this body, all of the fears, all of the illnesses that they may have felt, all of the pain, all of that is suddenly gone, and they don't have that anymore. And so it's such a wonderful thing for them when they do pass, because they no longer have all of the same things that they had before. And so that's another reason why we can always know they are okay. They're more than okay. In fact, they're doing better than us a lot of times. Okay, Marcia, well, thank you so much for dropping in. So glad you're here, and I'm so glad to see you. They're okay. They're good. Another question that people ask about their loved ones is, can they see me, or do they watch me? Did they see when ... fill in the blank? And the answer to that is yes, they see. When they pass away, it's not like they stop being around us. It's just that they're not in a body any longer. They're not in a physical body, but they're still there. They're just in a different dimension, a different realm that is right there with us. And so you can always know that your loved ones are right there with you. And that is so reassuring. Your loved ones who've passed away are right there with you. They're not far, they're right there. And so, and also, I just want to take a quick moment to encourage you, if you are enjoying this, or you would like to join in again in the future, hit the like button, or that way in the future you'll get notified when I go live on the Soul Switchboard. So our loved ones, they're right there with us. And it even says this in different religious texts, for those people who believe in the Bible. It describes that there's a great cloud of witnesses who surround us, talking about our loved ones who've gone on. And even in other religious texts, and whether you believe in religion or whatever, it doesn't really matter. The theme goes across all of them, the belief systems, that our loved ones truly are right here with us. And sometimes, people think, well, do they know that I feel this way, or do they know that I feel that way? Yes, they do. And you don't have to have a medium like myself, or like Marcia, who was just on here. You don't have to have one of us speak for you to communicate to your loved ones. The good news is that they hear your thoughts and they hear your voice also. The reason why you need a medium right now is to help you, because you're maybe not hearing them speak as much, but they hear you 100%. And they have so much that they want to tell you, so much. But a lot of times it's just a matter of tuning in our hearing and our perception of being able to hear what our loved ones are trying to say to us. So in the meantime, until you are able to hear, we call it clear audience, or you're able to sense them, that's called clairsentience, or see, like, in your dreams, that's called clairvoyance. Until you build those skills that all of us have, nobody's more special than anyone else. It's just a matter of us building up our skills. But until you're able to get those skills tuned to them, a lot of times they will use other ways to speak to us. So what are some other ways that our loved ones will speak to us? What are some other ways? Thank you so much, Baby Cakes, for those likes and hearts. Appreciate it so much. Thank you. So what are some ways that they speak to us? Well, one of the most popular ways that our loved ones use to speak to us is in our dreams. Why is that? Because in our dreams, our mind is quiet. And when our mind is quiet, then what does that do? It provides them the opportunity to be able to speak to us in a way that we can understand, through pictures or words sometimes. I'm just curious, has anyone here ever had a loved one visit you in your dreams? Has anyone ever experienced that before or yet? Have you ever had someone visit you in your dreams? Yes, Baby Cakes. And out of curiosity, when they did they say something to you that you remembered afterwards? Sometimes our loved ones will give us messages like, "Don't worry about me. I'm okay. I love you." Or sometimes they will warn us because they're involved in our life, and they can see things better than we can sometimes. And so when they speak to us in our dreams, that's their way. They were watching over me. Oh, okay. But wow, that is saying a lot in itself. That was their way of letting you know that they are there and they're watching over you. How reassuring is that? Your loved one is there, not only there, but they're watching over you. And that is, that you're never, ever, ever alone. That's a gift right there. Just to know that much, that is a gift. And that's one of the major ways that our loved ones will speak to us. Until we get used to hearing them other ways, and even afterwards, because I still have some of my loved ones who will come and speak to me in my dreams sometimes, in addition to other ways as well. But that's one of the major ways that your loved ones will try to speak to you, in your dreams. Another way that they'll try to speak to you sometimes, because keep in mind, those who have passed away, they try to communicate in ways that takes the least amount of effort, that the path of least resistance. And so sometimes it can be in a dream. Another way that your loved ones may be speaking to you, maybe you've noticed this, but sometimes they will actually Yes, in science, baby cakes. That's so true. And well, and that actually touches on the next two ways I was going to say. One of the signs that they give sometimes, they will speak through animals a lot of times. Whether you have a dog or a cat, or sometimes a bird or a butterfly, dragonflies, especially cats because they're very intuitive. Cats are. And so if you notice that sometimes when you are having an emotional moment, yes, sometimes your pet is caring and wants to help, but also, they will also, our loved ones will encourage animals to come and be extra clingy to us to try to help take care of us. Why? Because animals are very intuitive, especially cats and dogs and some birds and some butterflies sometimes. Have you ever had like a time when you were upset and crying, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, either a butterfly or a bird comes and they start acting different around you? That, or maybe an animal like your cat or a dog starts acting different. A lot of times, that's because your loved ones are actually encouraging. Yeah, the cat, huh? Yeah, cats are so amazing, and they are so intuitive. They can pick up on the spirit realm very, very easily. And that's, you know, they see a lot of stuff as well. So it's amazing. But so when you notice that there's an animal that's acting a little abnormal around you when you are emotional, sometimes it's because your loved one is trying to communicate through that animal to get them to kind of serve as a mediator for you. Since you don't have a medium at that moment to help communicate or help you to hear, sometimes the animal's there. Another way, and Baby Cake had mentioned this, another sign that our loved ones are there. Some people call them angel numbers, but I know that our loved ones actually will use uh, repetitive numbers sometimes to speak to us, to give a sign to us. 111, 444, 555. Or you're driving down the street and you see a 111, you see that, and you're like, wow, that's really amazing. Sometimes that's one of the ways that your loved one is trying to speak to you. Or another sign could be, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard this, a certain song comes on that your loved one knew was meaningful to you. Have you ever had that happen before, where there was a song that was meaningful to you and it came on right at the moment that was so impactful? Yes. Yeah, see, Baby Cakes. So true. Right at the moment. Why is that? Well, our loved ones are able to manipulate a lot of digital things easier. Why is that? Because remember, they're on a different frequency level. And so they're already used to dealing in frequency now that they've passed over from the lower frequency, which is inside of these bodies. They exist at a higher frequency. And so they already are aware of frequency levels and things like that. And so they can manipulate frequency. They can manipulate these things easier. And then that is why we experience that. And they use that actually as a sign to us a lot of times. Speaking of manipulating frequencies and electricity, another way that your loved ones can speak to you is through flickering lights. Have you ever experienced that the light started flickering, when you said something, or you were feeling a certain way and then the lights flicker a little bit out of nowhere. I don't know about you, but I experience that still sometimes. That was one of the ways that I know that my daughter is speaking to me. She'll flicker a specific set of lights that only flickers when I say certain things. And she'll do that to let me know, yes, daddy, okay, daddy, or something, like if I say, okay, sweetie, I love you, I miss you, or something like that, then right after that, the light will flicker. And that lets me know, okay, she heard me and she's signaling back. That's one of the ways that they do that. Baby Cake says that, yes, mine's doing that today and yesterday. Yeah. And so when your lights are flickering, the majority of time, that is because there is a loved one who is trying to get your attention. Sometimes it could mean that, if you have a lot of, you're doing a lot of spiritual work, sometimes your energy level can cause electrical disturbances if it's at a certain degree or something. But a lot of times for the average person, a lot of times that's just because our loved one is trying to find these different ways to speak to us. And so the awesome thing is that there's all of these different modes of hello Ria as well, glad that you're here. There's all these different ways that our loved ones are trying to speak to us every day. The problem that we have is that we're so busy every day and we're so distracted. We've got the TV on over here, we've got our cell phones here that are constantly going on with some app or something, and then we've got life happening all around us. A lot of times we're not quiet enough to be able to hear. And if we just still ourselves on the inside just for a little while, that can help. First, it opens you up to be able to hear these little messages to you. Sometimes you're going to start to notice more synchronicities. You'll notice more of these little messages that are happening all around you every day. And it's such a beautiful thing. I was guilty of this because I was the one who, since I was a kid, I always had to perform to try to, make everybody to feel like people would love me. I had to, get high enough grades as a kid in school, or else, I didn't feel like I was loved. And then getting out, I had to overperform and get these kind of jobs and do this and do that. And always having to be on the go all the time, to the point where I was addicted to doing. So you know what it's like, Baby Case, right? You know what it's like. And sometimes in our society, it rewards us for being addicted to the doing so much that we get caught up in that trap. And we never truly allow ourselves the ability or the time just to be. Not to have to perform, but just to be and live, and to see what's going on around us, and to listen to the people around us. Baby Cake, you said I still feel some of that today. Yeah. Especially once you've been used to operating like that, it's like, it's always there, and that temptation to always get so caught up in the do, instead of allowing ourselves to rest sometimes. And again, there's religious texts that say, be still and know or experience. And it says that in each of these different religions that, we need to have time to be still, to be quiet, whether it's the Buddhist religion or the Christians or the Muslims or Hindu, or no matter what it is, it's just built into us. We know that we need to be able to find moments to be still and to be quiet. Because when we find those moments, what happens is that we're able to start to receive input through different senses. That's when your clair senses become more alive, your clair audience, being able to hear the spirit speak to you, your clair sentience, being able to feel impressions of, maybe there's some force or something that is, something's not right. And have you ever had that feeling like, oh my goodness, something's not right and I need to figure out what it is? Have you ever had that stirring, that feeling before? That, just something's not right. Well, if you've ever had that feeling, that comes from your inside, that sense of, and some people will call it psychic, some people will call it clairsentience. It just depends on where the message is coming from. But if we're never quiet, if we're never still, we can never develop our hearing to be able to receive these communications, whether it's from our loved ones who've passed away, or whether it's from, the Creator, or whether it's from our higher selves, whoever it's from, or our own intuition. And if we are quiet and give ourselves time just to be quiet, sometimes taking deep breaths, relaxing, there's a physiology to this. Physiologically, when we breathe in deep and calm our breathing down, it triggers a chain reaction in our bodies and in our minds, in our emotions. There's a release of the epinephrine and the serotonin and these different feel-good chemicals that finally get released in your body that helps you to feel good and relax and be good. That's the kind of place and environment we want to build for ourselves, so that we can be calm and hear. Our loved ones are always speaking to us, always. When you think of your ancestors, it's not just parents, grandparents, but you have ancestors going back generations who all, like the one scripture says, they're gathered like a great cloud of witnesses there. And they want to help. And they're always speaking to us and giving us warnings. Hey, watch out for that. Or you know what? They might be the ones who are giving us a funny feeling about somebody sometimes. On Baby Case, you said, I have the knowing something before it happens. Yeah. That's awesome that you can get dialed into that. That's all of us have some of that. It's just a matter of, are we dialing into it? Are we listening to it? Or are we so distracted with everything else all the time, right? Be still and know. Have this knowing of who you are, what's going on around you, who's speaking to you, who's trying to let you feel their love today. Sometimes, yeah. But that's amazing. That is amazing, Baby Cakes. I can almost, have you always felt like you had this ability to know something before it happened? Or was this something that happened more recently? You always felt like you could know something was going to happen. See, so that's a gift that came stronger for you out the gate. That's awesome. And then you knew to pay attention to it when those impressions would come to you, right? Or most of the time, when that voice spoke to you, you kind of paid attention. Whether you did follow through with whatever it was or not is another story, but you know, yeah, yes. And that is so amazing. And don't ever lose that. And we do best when we allow ourselves to grow and show the strength of this other type of sense. You are more than what you see. Just like our loved ones, they are more than their bodies. That was one of the things also that some of the spirits, when mediums talk to them and ask them, what is one of the biggest surprises that you experience after you pass away? And a lot of them will say that it's a big realization or surprise to them that they are not their body. Because in this life, we're so trained to think this body, like the body that you're looking at on the screen right now, that is me, that is Aethorios, that's who that is. And when you look in the mirror, that's you. But no, it's not. This is just the shell. This is the vehicle that you are riding around in during the years that you're here in the earth. Just like this is the vehicle that I'm riding around in, right? And so there is so much more to who we are. And so that's one of the reasons why we do mediumship, because a lot of times people don't realize that, and they think that when someone passes away or separates from this physical body, they feel like, okay, well, the body is dead, so they're dead. But no, that is not the case. There's all of this other stuff going on. Baby Cakes, you said that you also had a near-death experience. Wow. So that you probably have so much more awareness than most people. About how long ago was your near-death experience, if you don't mind sharing? And that's one of the things that people who have near-death experiences, they share the same type of thing, that when they're having this, like they die on the table, surgery table, for example, they, in the medical field, they'll say that, about 10 years ago, wow, in the medical field, they'll say that, okay, for the first 7 minutes after someone dies, that, the brain is still functioning, even though the rest of the body may be dead. And so the brain sometimes will see or hear things. But people who've had near-death experiences, or where they've died on operating tables, a lot of times they all say the same thing. They could see still, even though, their eyes were closed in their body on the operating table, they could hear still. They could see a lot of times doctors trying to revive them, sometimes from a different perspective, or they saw what people in the room were wearing, or people in the hallway outside were what they were discussing or doing. There's no explanation for that other than they were leaving their body and their consciousness continued on. What do you want to share a little bit about what it was like for you when you had your near-death experience? I'd love to hear any of it. because we really, our society, we view our bodies and death, we view it through a skewed lens. And people like yourself who have had near death experiences, you've experienced and you've seen. Oh, okay, not a problem. I appreciate you just being willing to share that you've had an experience like that. So, you have experience that so many other people would be so well off if they just had the understanding. I bet that after you had that experience 10 years ago, it really changed your perspective with life. Is that fair to say? That, or maybe that you viewed life or situations a little bit differently? That's a lot of times that's what I hear from people when they've had a near death experience, that they view life a little differently. Yeah. Yeah. And so life is so much more than what we attribute it to. One of the biggest things too, I did a video about this on Soul Switchboard. One of the biggest things that are communicated from our loved ones when they pass away is regret. They regret a lot of times, and they're not like buried in regret a lot of times, but they still have some regret. But the things that they regret, I don't think, I hardly ever hear them regretting anything with money. They don't regret that they didn't have enough money. They don't regret that they didn't have certain things. They don't regret that they didn't have a certain social status, or they couldn't get elected at whatever. The thing that the majority of the loved ones that we talk to, what they regret, they said, yep, your mother or your grandmother told you that you were special. That's true. See, your grandmother saw and she knew. Yep. Our loved ones regret a lot of times, and they will come across in readings saying that they regret that they were not more open with their love. Because they realize that in reality, all of this is about love. Our relatives, we're here to love them. They're here to exchange love with us. It doesn't matter if we have the most expensive this or that, or the biggest house or whatever. All of that means nothing if there is no love, or if our love is not freely expressed in a way that is clear. And so that's one of the biggest regrets that I hear from loved ones on the other side. They say that, they just wish that when they were alive that they would have been more open about their love for whatever relative it is, because they want for them to know how much they love them. And so when I hear that, it always is a reminder to me, oh, awesome. That is awesome, baby cakes. We are here to love. And whatever way that we can do that while we're here on earth, that is so much. Oops, hold on just a second here. TikTok has me doing a little piece. Okay, great. So that's what it's about. You were told that you were a healer, and you don't know how true it is, though. A lot of times, baby cakes, and thank you again for the continued likes. I so appreciate you and everyone who is sharing and liking the live. if someone told you that, most likely you have a gift to be able to share healing with others. And, I think a lot of it is just learning how to develop our giftings that we have in whatever way we can, and uh, in whatever situations that we're put in, being able to share that gift of healing with our loved ones or others around us. Have you ever tried to step out to help heal someone before? Whether it was in like a religious way, or family members, or like, have you ever stepped out to try to bring healing to someone before? Seen shadows. Yep. You know what? Okay, now I don't know what your astrological chart is or anything of that nature, but there are certain people who you were born in with certain astrological signs that allowed you to go through hard times, so that from that place of shadow and hurt, you could become a healer to help heal others in different ways. So sometimes when we have these shadows or that are around us, whether there are personal shadows or we see shadows, or whatever manifestation of darkness or whatever is around us, a lot of times that's there to teach us to rise up in our strength and confront and be strong in who we are. And if you see shadows, to push back the shadow. If there is some, like a personal emotional shadow, to use that to overcome. When you have seen shadows, I'm thinking that that could be, and sometimes there's some shadows that aren't necessarily bad either. Maybe it's just a different type of form of somebody, whether it's a loved one. Sometimes I'll see shadows that I know are one of my ancestors. They'll be over there sometimes to get my attention, and then sometimes that's them trying to manifest into this realm in some way sometimes. But then sometimes there are negative. You know how you can tell a lot, baby cakes, is the feeling that you get when you see it. So if you see a shadow, like there's a shadow in the corner or on the wall or something, pay attention to the feeling that you get as you see it. And if you get a feeling that oh, this is something that's not good, and you get that feeling, trust your feeling, especially since you said that you always had the knowing that something before it would happen. So that lets me know that you have the ability to sense. You have these clear senses that you're a little bit more attuned to. And so if you get the feeling when you see a shadow that this is something that's not good, or if you get a bad feeling, then trust that feeling, and then that's a shadow that you resist. There will be shadows that you may see that you don't get a bad feeling from. You might just be a little shocked because you weren't expecting it. Well, that's different, because It's just like if a person walks into a room, you weren't expecting them, they can, you might jump a little bit. Oh, I didn't know you were here. And so it is with spirit too. You know, it could be your loved ones, it could be an angel or some other spirit. You know, there's plenty of spirits, and they will appear a lot of times as shadows sometimes. And just because they appear as a shadow doesn't mean that it's a bad spirit. You have to tell from what you feel when it's actually happening. And if anybody can tell, I'm sure it's you, because you already are attuned to some of that. You know, you already know, you can sense some things already. And so that's really, let's see, is it true that if you have a mole on your face that you are a seer? I heard that before. I have actually heard that. And I actually have had some people that I know that believe that. I from what I've seen, it seems like it would be true, because the people that I've seen with the moles usually do have that ability a little bit stronger. Again, all of us have these abilities, but I think there are some people that it comes easier for, like what you have experienced. You know, there are certain things that since you were born, it just came easy for you. And those are the people that we call seers. So I don't know. I can't say conclusively, but I would say that I would agree that that tends to be the case a lot of times. It really does. But the question that I would ask is, what are you doing with your gifts today? Whatever your gifts are, for you, for me, for anyone else who sees this, what are you doing with the gifts that you've been given? How are you developing yourself and your gifts and the things that you are able to do? What are you doing to develop that? All of us have the ability, the clairsenses, we all have that. Some people it comes easier for than others. But even with those, what are you doing to develop those so that it's easier for you to hear loved ones who've passed away or other spirits? What are you doing to develop your clairvoyance, to be able to develop that sight, so that you can see things easier? And if nothing yet, then okay, maybe it's time to give it a thought. What can I do? You know, are there exercises that I can do? You know, YouTube is, or I'm sorry, YT, because I know that TikTok doesn't like us to talk about other platforms, right? Even here on TikTok, there's some really good, if you search, you can find exercises for clairvoyance or clairaudience, or how to develop this sense or that sense. You can find a lot of good videos, and it's all free. So that's so amazing. The reason I'm saying this is because there are a lot of people out here in this world that really need help. You know, there's a lot of people. There's a saying that to whom much is given, much is required. Now, when I was a pastor, we used to use that to beat up the people in the church, to try to make them feel guilty for not doing enough, for giving enough, and all of this stuff. And that's not what that's not the approach that I'm coming at right now. Right now, the way that I'm saying it is, you know, we're all connected. I'm connected to you. You're connected to me. Every person who comes through this live, we're all connected. And we have the ability to help impact each other in positive ways. And as I think it came from my bloodline, my grandmother, probably, especially since your grandmother was the one who told you, right, that you were gifted and that you were special. She probably recognized that, huh? And she told you because she knew what it is. She knew what was going on, and that her baby, it had these special gifts that just came easier for her. That's amazing. You know, we all really will have a better quality of life as we try to allow ourselves to have time each day to be quiet, to rest a little bit so that we can hear our inner speaking, our inner hearing, our inner sight. When we just, and I just want to challenge everyone, give yourself 10 minutes a day. Just 10 minutes where you are in total quiet and you just sit with the quiet. And you breathe deep and you relaxing your body, paying attention to how your body's feeling, paying attention to any nudges that you're getting, you know, spiritually from, you know, whether it's, you know, someone, you know, a relative who might already be passed away, or just the voice, other voices can be speaking to you. And just when you're quiet, you can start to hear some of this. Sometimes it might be just you speaking to yourself, saying, you know what, I am better than this. I deserve better than this. Baby Cake says, yeah, because I was born 1 pound. Wow. Wow. So you were born 1 pound. So was that considered as a preemie, like as a preemie baby? That is amazing. And you were able to overcome so much from the beginning. See? You really are special, because you, from the birth, from the beginning, you've had to overcome and had to overcome and had to overcome. But you did it. And even getting to the place that you're at now, you have things still that, you know, there's people that are, that look down on you sometimes, that will, you know, they may look down on you, or they don't think that they can expect much from you. Those are the people that it doesn't matter what they think. Hey there, Jenna, glad to see you. It doesn't matter about those type of people. What matters is that you are strong for you. And the people who belong in your life are the ones who are going to recognize your greatness. Because you are greatness getting ready to go somewhere. Right? And so as you give yourself that little bit of time each day, just the 10 minutes, that 10 minutes of having quiet time is going to help you to train to listen to your inner senses more. So that clairaudience, that clairvoyance, those different things, as you shut out all of the noise outside, then that makes it easier for you to be able to hear and receive that intuition, to receive the voice of your loved ones from before who've passed. All of that will start coming as you quiet down the outside noise, because they're speaking to you constantly. They're there to give you messages constantly. It's just that we're not always listening. And when we listen, that's, and it takes practice. But the more that we listen, the more that we pay attention, the more louder their voice is going to seem to us. And that's exactly the same way as, people trying to learn mediumship. When you first are learning to listen or to pay attention and to trust yourself, then as you begin to trust yourself and what you are hearing when you're quiet, then you realize, oh my goodness, that was not my thought. There's no way that was my thought, because I had no way of knowing that. And so for you, that's what I'm just encouraging every single person that's here. Allow yourself to receive messages throughout the day, receiving the love, because like I shared earlier, our loved ones, they're there giving love. They're there and they're trying to speak to us a lot of times, and it's never ever that they don't want to speak to us. It's just that we're not tuned into the right channel. Like the radio, we have to tune ourselves off of all of this other stuff that's all around us and tune ourselves and our hearing to this other channel where our loved ones are speaking, and our spirit guides are speaking, and our angels are speaking, and our other spirits are speaking all around us, and everybody, there's a spirit team that's there that are all cheering us on, saying, come on, go, come on, go. And as we take that time, that quiet time, we'll get that, we'll hear it, and we'll feel it. And life is so much easier when we know ahead of time what to expect. So yes. I am so honored to get to have met you. So I'm hoping that everybody here has followed me. So next time that I come live, that it would give you a notification. For those of you who are newer here, I am part of the Soul Switchboard. I am an evidential medium that helps people to be able to connect with your loved ones on the other side, as well as helping to answer questions about what happens when you pass away, about what happens to our loved ones, what has our loved ones encountered, are they okay? We talked about that earlier. What happened to them? Yes, your baby is around you, baby cakes. Your baby is around you. And it's not just your baby that's around you. You have a lot of loved ones that are all right there around you. And that's what I was sharing with you earlier, that the really amazing thing is that we have at our disposal, all of our loved ones are close. It's just a different dimension. And they're actually there all the time around us. Whether we want them to be or not, they're there. But in a more tangible way, then some of them will come through, like your baby, and the two other females that are there with her, along with her, are, they are, coming through more tangibly. But all of your ancestors that have passed away are all there. As close as a breath, they're right there. And they can hear you. When you speak, like when you tell your baby that you love your baby hears that. They hear it. When you tell your other ancestors that you love them, they're there and they hear you completely. You said, I love them, y'all. Yes. And they hear you. They know. As soon as you have the thought, because they can read our thoughts, uh, they hear that. So don't ever worry. Anything that you want your loved ones to know, you can think it or tell them, and they hear it clear as day. They hear it, and they're there, and they love you. Yes. And that's the reason why I was trying to share. Everyone should get in the habit of giving yourself that 10 minutes a day of quiet time, because what that does is it allows you to have time so you can train your senses and train your listening, to listen for little impressions, maybe a little voice or two. And at first it comes in your own voice, so it might sound like you speaking, but you'll hear them say, "What are you doing?" For some of my relatives, that's what they'll say, "What are you doing?" Or, and these different things that they may say, it may start off and it may sound like your voice, but that's them speaking to you in a form that you can accept to start with. Baby Cakes, you said that I lost my best friend like almost 2 years ago. Okay. I'm so sorry for your loss. That is hard to lose our best friend. Yeah. And so what we could do is, Baby Cakes, depending on if you're able to join me on my next live, if you join in on my next live, that was the only friend I had, and your friend is still with you. Your friend is still there. Just so you know. Still a little sassy. Coming across kind of like sassy a little bit. I don't know if sassy is the right word, but a little bold. But they're still there with you. So don't think that they're not. They're there with you, and they're still helping you through some things. Yeah. She was a little sassy, I could tell. Not in a bad way, because they show me their personality, so that I can tell you, so that you know that I'm talking about the right person. So yeah, she's a little sassy. She's the kind of person that she would try to straighten you out a little bit and say, like, what are you doing, or what is this for, or whatever it is. She was the one who would tell you. Yeah, she'd be like Kitty and the boys. Right. Yeah, but she's right there with you. She hasn't left you at all. In fact, she saw everything. She's seen everything. Even and what I would like to do is, the next time that we meet, because I'm going to be getting off here real quickly, but the next time that we meet, I'll do a complete reading for you with her, so that you guys, we can definitely, why don't we try to connect with her this next time when we come back together, and then that way it's not rushed or anything, because I'm was going to end the live here in just a couple minutes. That way we can take some time, and I'm going to allow you to ask some questions to her as well, because she's very present. She's not hiding anything. There was Hold on just a second here. There was her, would you understand that her passing, that there was someone else that was kind of at fault for what happened with her? Would you understand that? Or maybe that's the part that you weren't aware of. I don't know. But does that part, would you understand that part? Yeah. Yeah, that's what she had said to me, that there was somebody else that was partially at fault with this. That was not her intention for what happened at all. And it was completely unexpected on her part. She had no idea that this was going to be happening, or that was the outcome of what would happen. In fact, she's like, truth be told. Is that something she would say, truth be told? I don't. She's like, truth be told. Was it rugs? Rugs? Yeah, okay, let me ask. Yep. I heard yep. Yeah, there's a yep. So, is Rugs, was Rugs an acquaintance of you guys? Or of her? She's very, she's very, very, very expressive is the way that I'll say it, right? Very expressive. Yeah, she was like, yeah. As soon as you said rugs, she was like, yep. She's like, girl. Yeah. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take why don't we take time and actually do like a full read with her next time that I come back on live? How does that sound? Because there's a lot to unpack here, and I can tell, and she wants to talk about a few things. One of them, she's willing to talk about this to a certain extent with you, only to the point that it's beneficial. She also wants to talk about some issues with would you understand some issues with mama? Hey, Shama. Okay, and your son. Okay. There's something with mama. I don't know if it's her mama or your mama, but mama. Hold on. But she wants to discuss, there's like 3 things that she wants to talk about with you. But we're gonna give her a chance to, like, for you guys to talk, and you can ask questions also, and it can be, because I'm not like the kind of medium where I just want to like brush you off and give you a couple little things that makes you, I mean, you already know that we're talking right now, but I want for you to be able to ask questions and get answers, because that's going to help you with what you need, and especially from what I'm getting here. There are some things that she wants to help you with, and like I told you earlier, she said she's always right there with you. She's not ever leaving from by your side. She is right there, and she wants to work through some stuff with you. So why don't we do this? Make sure, baby kicks it, you're following me, and do the notifications so that next time that I go live, over the next couple days, when I go live, it'll notify you, come on to the live, and then when I see you come live, you'll be like the first person that we do like a full reading together. How's that? That way, okay, good. And we'll do a full reading with her. and I want you to write down at least 3 or 4 questions that you have for her. Okay? So you don't forget in the heat of the moment, because when your emotions start to rise up, you might forget. I want you to remember the questions. Write down 3 or 4 good questions at least. Sometimes we might be able to do more, but at least write down the questions so that we can go through those, because there's your questions, and then there's about 3 things that she wants to talk with you about as well, and then we're not gonna rush through it. So if it takes half an hour, it takes half an hour. I'm more than happy to, because she there's some things that she wants to talk about, but I don't want to rush her or you. Does that sound good? Okay, great. Okay, baby cakes. So make sure that you've followed or liked or whatever, so that you got the notifications. And this is Friday, so it'll probably be in the next couple of nights that I come up to go. Shama, I'm so glad to see you here. What have you been up to? Good to see you live. I know. I'm so glad to see you too. Supermodel over there with your... Everybody follow Shama Spiritual Mafia. She's another content creator on YouTube, and she has some really good information about a lot of stuff. And so follow her if you can, please. Follow Shama Spiritual Mafia. She's really good. She's got good content and very informative, and she is very attuned in. Remember, we were talking about, everybody, earlier, we were talking about being attuned in so that you can hear, you receive guidance and you can hear from your spirit, whether it's your ancestors, loved ones, angels, whoever it is. She's one that has been doing this so long. She's tuned in really well. And so if you want to see what that looks like and what it could look like for you, go check out her videos, and you'll see she is amazing. She just, I got chills just thinking how amazing her stuff, and she's right on. So awesome. So thank you, Shama, for being here. Baby Cakes, thank you, Baby Cakes, first of all, for being here, but also for opening up about everything with your friend. We know that your friend is here, and your friend proved that she's willing to talk. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Shama. Baby Case, your friend is here. She already told you, she proved already that she was there. She's right there with you all the time, going through a lot of this stuff with you. But due to the nature of, because I have to jump off right now because I have to work in the morning, I want for us to be able to spend time with her and you asking the questions that you want to ask and getting answers from her, because it's very clear connection. She's and I can see her. So I know that she's yeah, she wants to tell you some stuff, and we're gonna spend some time together. She's got a big personality. That's all I gotta say. She has a big personality. Yeah, and she knows that you miss her so much. She as soon as you're thinking it to type, she sees, but she knows that she said, that girl, yeah, she knows. So okay, so watch out. In the next couple nights, we're gonna jump onto this again, and again, we're gonna do a full read with you, and we're gonna have a good time with her. I can already tell it's gonna be a good time, because she's ready to put it down. She's got it. She's funny. So yeah, we're gonna have a good time with her, right? Yeah, Shama said party time. Let's see, baby girl, we gonna talk about. Yeah, did you hear me earlier when I had said girl? Because she had said that to something you said. I don't know if I said it loud enough to you, but she had said girl. So, because that's what she was saying. Yeah, so yeah, it's right. You're gonna talk about some stuff. So it's gonna be a good time. So, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I am just so honored to get to spend time with you all. I'm honored to be able to be here, and for each of you who came through, and like Shama Spiritual Mafia, Baby Cakes, everybody who is here. Please make sure to like the profile, follow, get notified, so next time we come live, we can you'll get notified, and then I'll be able to do some mediumship readings for you, and we'll connect, and we'll keep connecting. And this is a community where we're supporting each other, because the world is a cruel place out there, but we can be a healing environment for each other and supportive. All right. So have a great night, everybody, and I'm sending out my love to each and every one of you. All right. So take care, and I'll see you all next time. Okay. Bye-bye.